and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not reflect the views of BronxNet, the Kitty Rose Lifestyle, or the program underwriters. This is the movement. The movement.
Southern, geeky, hard-working, hard-loving, strong woman. A woman who strutted her sassy daily to sacrifice and make ends meet. A woman who loved her children and lift her dress shouting, "Ah, shit," when dancing. A woman who loved God and knew she was loved. A woman who weaved collard greens, cornbread, and candied yams into stomach quilts and married smothered chicken and gravy to rice. A woman who knew lonely and at times ached for companionship and passion. A smart, common sense woman who ate books and taught her children to do the same. I come from a people whose skin was kissed by the sun and sung about by the gods. I come from clotheslines, pens, and wash tubs, homemade baked biscuits and hope, laughter and strangling pain. Go to the back of the bus, ancestral ritual, cotton plantations, midwives, breast milk, and fight. I come from butcher knife carrying women who knives rip through flesh like butter caress bread. I come from mess with me and get live thrown on your ass women. I come from stolen opportunity and anti-lynching campaigns. I come from Harriet Tubman, Fannie Lou Hamer, Billie Holiday women who spoke and sung courageously about strange fruits springing from the poplar trees. Women who breaststroke loneliness, pain, and troubles with, "Baby, come by late tonight when my children are asleep. Your right hand don't have to know what your left hand is doing, women." I come from strong, confident women who gave less than a damn about anybody's, much less a man's approval. Women who never passed judgment on another woman, knowing need, loneliness, and a hungry body sometimes ruled the good sense. I come from shouting out the window, looking through the peephole women. I come from defiant by any means necessary, paycheck gone, no loans, gotta sell some pussy, ain't gonna let my children starve women. Hey, Leroy! Man, your woman that ran off with that woman living down the street. You know what, man? Maybe she would have stayed had you not beat her smile from her spirit. I come from blues, jazz, bebop, hip-hop, and raped humanity. I come from ancestors whose bones still cry out for justice. That's the declaration.
I come from.
I've always written letters to God, and I've always asked for what I wanted.
Okay.
What I wanted, and I said I would love an opportunity to facilitate a poetry and creative workshop, and I wanted to work with my generation.
Really?
I wanted to work with my generation.
Okay.
And as I was stating before what happened, what I learned that many of the seniors were living in isolation. Many didn't have friends. Excuse me, but when the workshop started, these seniors started coming to workshop. They started publishing. They started publishing. Some have appeared on radio with me. They've started doing public appearances.
Okay.
So, I mean, it just blossomed.
Gave them a life, or gave them it added to their lives.
Yes. And then they formed friendships. So I stayed there for 2.5 years. I would come from my home in the Bronx to come to New Rochelle twice a week to do this for 2.5 years. And I received no monetary reward or material reward. Okay. But I received a spiritual reward. And that was far more important because I knew whom I was serving. And it meant a lot to me and to them. See, I know my purpose, and my purpose has always been that of a servant, always to serve. And when there's a need, I know if I'm called to fill it.
Did you always know?
I've always known
so
that
even
it's
as
just
a child,
something. I believe so because I just found myself
doing it.
I found myself doing it, and it felt right. And once I got there, I knew I belonged there. And I would always ask this question: God, I may not understand everything, but I know that you're in charge. You're in charge.
Did you grow up in a Christian home? Or?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I grew up in a Christian home, and one of the main things that my mother didn't go to church.
Okay.
If my mother didn't go to church, she made certain that all 5 of us children were there. And there was no way of getting out of it.
Okay.
That's right. Now, church was just down the block from where we lived, just a couple of buildings away, a few buildings away.
But it helped with your foundation.
Yes, that was my foundation.
So I have 2 questions.
Yes.
Because what I love about stories of manifestation is that I don't think enough of us are aware of that power. And I'm witness that I've have manifested some things. So I'm always like, oh, so what else? Because it's such a powerful gift. I wish I was more in tune. I'm not as in tune with it right now as I would like to be. So I guess it's 3 questions. But the first of the 3 questions is, so is that one of the things, or is that the thing that you wish your younger self knew, that you had that ability to create what you wanted? Or if not, what was? And then I'll come back to my second question.
I believe that it was always there, but as a child I couldn't name it. I couldn't identify it, but it was always there. I believe that we're born with things. And I think what has a lot to do with it, where I'm at this particular time in my life too, is that we come from a people in a history stretching back to the continent of Africa. And a lot of our spirituality, a lot of who we are intuitively was there. And the connection, the connection was broken, but I feel like we've brought so much with us. So much with us. And things that some of the things that we don't understand, it's just a normal way of being. And whether on the continent or whether you're just in the life that we've built, I'm African American, the life that we built here, our history / herstory here, that it's all part of that. And these are lessons I felt that we're just passed on through generations. And I think the older we become, we begin to recognize certain things. It's like certain things that you do and you wonder why you do them. And it's they're the most natural of things.
But you don't always get the connection.
You don't get the connection. You don't get the connection. You don't understand where that's coming from, but you learn to relax in it, and your understanding is developed.
Not all of us.
You know,
Right.
it takes. You know, it takes. I didn't come to this place.
Okay, so that was my third question.
No.
My second one I'll come back to. So what age do you think you came to that light bulb where you kind of was like, I'm understanding, or I'm beginning to understand? And not only am I beginning to understand, I'm beginning to embrace. Because sometimes we know and still don't.
No, it's true. And I think that that didn't happen for me until I was in my mid or late 30s.
Okay.
My mid or late 30s. I used to poet with a group back in the day, as you can say, when I was in my mid to late 30s, and we were known as Captive Girlfriends of Third Act. And I got so caught up in celebrity because so many doors were opening up for us. But what I did, I got so caught up in the celebrity and performing that I forgot about my spiritual foundation.
Okay.
I was just, we had the game there. I was a young woman. I was partying. That was it. I mean, that was it. So it wasn't about, you know, I still believed
Right.
type of thing, and would pray, but it was nothing like who I used to be. Until one day, I was on stage.
Okay.
I was on stage, and all of a sudden, I looked out at the crowd, and they were yelling my name. And it was a packed house. And I felt empty. I felt so empty.
On the stage performing
On
in
this,
front
and
of
I
a
felt
full audience.
empty. I felt alone. I felt as though I was watching a film. I felt as though it was surreal. I thought I was watching a film. And I had on my performance clothes, and I walked when performance was over. I walked from the stage, and people wanted to, you know, hug me, whatever. But I looked, and my soul ached, and all I could say was, "Dear Lord, there's got to be more than this. You mean I'm working hard for this? For this? Is this what life is about? I have been to parties with names that people know. And I saw what went on at those parties. And I'm like, no.
I know that feeling.
No. The hypocrisy.
Just knowing that wasn't you. That wasn't where you was going to end up.
And I remember that night, I walked from that stage, tears were pouring. I got a cab. I was in Brooklyn, and I was living in Harlem at the time. I got a cab. I went home, and I threw myself on the floor, and I started screaming and crying. Help me. Help me, Lord. Help me.
Really?
Help me. Help me.
Okay.
Help me. And after I had finished just pouring out my heart, Lord said, okay, get up. I said, I need you. Get up. I got up from that floor. I dried my eyes.
Okay.
I sat down. That time we had typewriters.
Right. I
sat down and I started typing. I typed an 8-page letter to the performance group. Told them I want no more part of it. I'm walking away. And it was a very profound. It wasn't something you could tell, and it probably wasn't even me, but it was deep down, just gut. And 8 pages, and the telephone. When I sent that to each of them, they contacted me. They could not believe it that I would walk away from all what was happening for us. The doors. We had TV programs scheduled. We had performances scheduled. And I had a smile on my face, and I said, I don't care. That means nothing to me. I have something far greater.
Okay.
And that was the revelation for me. That changed everything. I walked away.
Wow. Did you enjoy performing?
I loved.
That's what's crazy. It's like it had to be something drastic in what you love at the time to make you feel completely empty.
But I knew what I was doing. The performances were good.
Right. It was the world that it. Okay.
And I enjoyed.
I can relate to that.
But I knew that. I knew that God had a deeper work for me to do. A deeper work. And I know that the message at that time, and I can tell you, I'm unapologetic. I say it freely for everybody who's listening, everybody who's watching this program. I say, at that time, God told me, you will not write for the world. You will write for me.
Okay.
You will not write for the world. You will write
that was the message you heard.
For me.
Okay.
You have been given a gift, and that gift is to serve people, to heal the broken. People need a positive message. They know what the world, that you have lost souls. There are people out there, they don't know where to turn, what to do.
So you're in the house, on the floor, crying out. And this is, wow.
And I'm going to tell you, it's not even a house. During that time, my job was downsizing. I was the last hired and the first fired, handed a pink slip. I was on 135th Street, living on the 11th floor in the YMCA.
All right.
That was my home. And I was on that floor. I was on that floor.
I know that's right. So, my third question, my third question, and then I'm excited to the direction it's going to go in. But one of the things that I noticed, and I'm very appreciative, and please don't take, I don't think you'll take it the wrong way. So,
no.
Because you say you worked with seniors, so you acknowledge seniors and that gracefulness of being a senior. So being a part of that baby boomer generation, what I notice a lot about you, and this is why people know you also from the Poet Exchange, is not just from seeing you out and about, but you are big when it comes to marketing on social media, which baby boomers do not do. And artists in Harlem don't do. How have you become, or are you comfortable? Like because in knowing the purpose that you serve, and knowing this tool that you're another tool in which you're using to serve, what mentally allows you to be involved in social media, because that's not your generation?
Is service. I stayed away from Facebook. I didn't really know about them. I had interest. I think I've only been on Facebook since, could be around maybe 2011, 2012.
Okay.
And so I got a computer, but even if I had gotten a computer, and I think it was 2009.
You sound like even having a computer is foreign.
I mean, because I wasn't really interested.
Okay. You were still on your typewriter.
Exactly. There were computers. There were computers when I was going to college because I started college late. I graduated with my Bachelor of Science. I think it was no, I don't think it was 2009.
Wow.
But I did everything on a typewriter, and I had such a fabulous typewriter. My professor swore that I was doing it by computer. They swore because my work was so on point.
Okay.
And I said, watch this. And I did what made me feel comfortable, and it worked. I graduated.
Right. Hello.
But I'll tell you.
So 2011, you break and you get a computer.
I have always been a person because I have been refused opportunity. In my lifetime, I've had people to deny me opportunity. People would have theirs, but they were not giving. And they were not a giving kind of people to say, well, I have mine and I'm going to reach down and help someone else.
Okay.
I've had those kind of experiences. And where I saw potential and I saw people's dreams, that gave me the fire and a lot of the energy. I knew people wanted to be poets. I knew people wanted to be writers. I know people wanted opportunities to come and perform their work. And Poets Network and Exchange was an excellent vehicle.
Right.
So that's what propels me. When you see me out there marketing and you see me producing programs with various people, I reach into the community and I get those programs together, and I learned how to do that. And it just kept me going, and the joy that I receive from seeing people realize their potential, realize their goals, and realize their dreams. I might be doing a small part, but they're so.
And your poets don't necessarily look like especially, when I first again met you, I've seen, especially online, but in person,
we're intergenerational.
Well, not only that, you're not the,
no,
the. You're not the dirty backpack, No, you're attorneys. In the professional world, and like you said, different age group, different complexions. But a teacher, or a librarian, someone necessarily that you would not necessarily think had gift of words or had something that they want, a story that they wanted to say in poetry.
What I learned. That a lot of people and other people, okay, so here I am, a mental health counselor, a bereavement counselor, but you have people who are my fellow poets or our fellow poets and writers who are lawyers, who are teachers, who are doctors, different truck drivers, who is chefs, sous chefs, all kinds. Okay.
With this
professions, yes.
The story inside.
So the way that I Poets Network and Exchange, what we do, we open up the door. We welcome everybody, and I purposely, yes, if everyone's watching and listening, I purposely reach out to those who are not the ones who are constantly being invited.
Got you.
Okay.
Yes.
Who are constantly invited. Nice. I'm so opposed to that. I am.
Okay.
And as a result of being, I said I chart my own path. I don't belong to any clique or clan. For all of us watching and listening, I don't belong to any clique and clan. No one owns me.
I hear that.
Okay, I'm my own person. Okay, because I was raised to believe that whatever's for me, it's for me.
Yes,
I no longer accept what I no longer just go naively and blindly into anything. What I do, when you show me your character, when you reveal who you are, then I don't try to fix you. I don't try to fix you. I look at you, and because I am a mental health counselor, I understand your behavior. I understand the behavior. And what I do, I have a thing. I pity the person and I pray for them. And I keep it going. I keep it moving. I keep it moving, and that's all that I can do. And I say, well, you know, my energy and my time, let me put it in a direction or give it to someone who would truly appreciate and understand what I'm offering. And I leave it at, you know, and I just leave it, and I leave it. I'm
Okay.
65. I'm 65. And it's one thing I learned about age that I love. The older you become, what is the point?
Okay.
What is the point? My thing is, you're a human being. Your abilities, your capabilities are not superior to mine.
Right.
If it's just like you applied yourself, I can do the same. I don't need to kiss behind you in order to be given opportunity.
And what opportunities have you now been given, taking the lead for yourself and doing this for yourself and saying, I got this?
Okay. I've published. Thank God for blogs. Thank God for blogs. I've always wanted to have a magazine. So thank God for blogs. So I now have a Corelli Literary Journal, which is a blog, and it's fabulous. And it's opened up doors for me to go to various places and to write reviews.
Are you still working? Are you retired?
Oh, I'm retired.
Okay, so that's another beautiful opportunity.
That's another beautiful opportunity.
Like, is this your second or third? What you
This is
think?
about my third, fourth, fifth, or
Okay.
sixth.
Okay.
And that's another thing that I would like to tell younger people, that life is a continuum. You don't get to a certain age and stop. As long as there is life, as long as you're breathing, you just keep going. And at the age of 65, and I'll be 66 this month, you just keep going. And I'm still finding things that I want to do. I still have projects that I want to do. That's what life is about. It's a continuum. So you have a lot. You're gonna have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 or more lives. You know, because you're gonna realize certain things that you've always wanted to do, and then they're gonna manifest. And then there's always something else birthed in your heart. Do white mothers cry? Do white mothers rejoice and panic at the birth of sons? Do white mothers fear son deaths? Do white mothers pray with and for sons and male loved ones before sending them out into the world? Do white mothers give instructions to sons for navigating society? A society which hates and fears them? Do white mothers teach sons how to avoid encounters with police officers and other potential threats? Do white mothers teach sons how to keep silent in the face of life-threatening harassment for walking, driving, and breathing? Do white mothers spend their waking hours worrying whether or not their sons and male loved ones will return home safely? Are white mothers' dreams accented with thoughts of lynching, beatings, rapes, and indignities? Dear God, someone, anyone, do white mothers' gardens grow dead sons? Do white mothers' gardens grow dead sons? Do white mothers see peace officers while others see terrorists? This black woman sister, aunt, cousin, and friend wants to know, do white mothers cry?
This is the movement.